Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we had the Game Master, where JoJo confronted Straightso and had a very interesting fight with him. And eventually he did beat Straightso, who revealed that it was pretty much a test, basically, where he was basically testing to see how good JoJo was, and basically used his own Hamon to destroy his body, and warned of an even greater danger, the Pillar Man. The man who is carved into all of the stone masks. And we then cut to Mexico, where the Nazis were trying to awaken the Pillar Man. And yeah, also Speedwagon's still alive. And at the end, JoJo was on his way to confront the Pillar Man and the Nazis. And yeah, that was pretty much that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments, and we should go ahead and hop into this episode. Here we go.
But I can't shake the feeling that someone's here! Damn my imagination. Must be the heat playing tricks with my mind.
Oh, nope. Did you get stabbed?
Well, aren't you a sharp one? You somehow sensed my presence, although I was engaging my skills of stealth this entire time.
Oh, great.
Even
He's
wild
German.
bats can't do that. Our army would like to ask you some questions about Straightso.
The Nazis.
Straightso? Why would you be interested in him? And who is our army?
It's the Nazis!
You think you can take on the blade of SS Commander Donovan with just your bare hands, little boy?
Donovan? Oh, it's Indiana Jones.
Insulted.
Oh! He punched a cactus. Oh! Oh! Yep! Yep!
Victory!
Ah, great.
You really are quite the gentleman for letting me rest right here and giving me these moments to recover safely.
What are you talking
boy.
about? Recover safely? Have you lost
I'm
your
on.
mind, little boy? Wait a sec.
It's going to explode.
This cactus.
You should take a closer look.
Oh!
Regardless, I'll bring him home, and Granny Arena's smile will shine like the midday sun.
Good man. Ugh! Tied him to the cactus, jeez.
Stop being so arrogant! You've no idea what he's capable of!
Well,
Relax, old man. That test chamber is impenetrable. It has iron walls nearly 20 inches thick. It's equipped with...
yeah, and I'm sure Dio could get through that. We're talking about the Pillar Man. Oh! He's alive. Oh!
I'll name him after the Mexican winds. He shall be known as San Viento.
San Viento?
He's trying to stand.
I'll have to go back for that.
Before us. Rise up and show us what you are made of. San Viento!
He's not quite like the others. I mean, he's a new person, basically.
You there, start the experiment. Somebody opens the door to the next chamber. Yes, sir.
Okay. They're doing experiments with him now. Oh, luckily he was given a loincloth. No, he's biding his time.
His hands, his arms. What's going on
Getting
with his
sucked
arms?
in.
Viento is somehow absorbing the prisoner.
Oh. He can absorb people.
He's pulling him straight into his body. He's devouring him.
Okay. Why?
A marvelous San Viento feeds with his entire body. So nothing is lost. He can absorb every bit of his brain life force down to the last drop.
He doesn't just need blood. He's like a super vampire.
And what about his intelligence? What level of thought is he capable of?
Yeah. Oh. He kind of looks like Jonathan.
Major von Stroheim.
Oh, knows your name.
Looks like you've got a nice basket of food there, all right?
Now then, it's time for the frisking.
Even the Nazis do like these weird poses.
You can give
Yeah.
me a little smile.
Next!
All I've got under my skirt is more tequila, big boy. Is it all right to bring that through too?
What the Joseph, why?
Any funny moves and we shoot you dead.
What? Put your guns down.
Oh god, he's so big.
Funny moves there. Even my big sister isn't as ugly as you, and we used her to plant the fields. She was an arse.
Jesus.
You should have spent more time in front of the mirror this morning, big sissy.
What was that?
Oh. Uh-oh.
Come on!
Temper. Oh! Kicked them both. Oh, Joseph is so weird.
Was he's lost? He's squeezing himself into the ventilation ducts. Those slats are less than 2 inches tall. How the hell could anyone possibly stuff an entire body through a gap that small?
He's the ultimate vampire.
You, soldier, turn around and move away from that vent immediately.
Ugh.
Go, you idiot!
Well, go! Whoop! Oh, he just went into that dude.
If this thing escapes, I'll be known for creating the fatherland's most powerful enemy.
Oh.
Destroy him! At this point, it's either him or us.
Okay.
Take him out!
There's at least that.
Shred that monster to pieces!
If guns will do anything.
Which one of you was fool enough to disturb my slumber?
He spoke!
Yep, he's intelligent.
Capable of higher thought.
Oh! What? He mimicked the gun.
He's shooting at us. He's gonna kill us all.
Let's go, old man. We better get you to safety. There's no
Jojo.
telling how many more bullets are...
Oh.
Somebody do something! Open fire! No! They have it!
Alright, Jojo, you're up.
Pardon me.
I know that demeanor, but it couldn't be.
Oh, but it is.
I call this one the old Homo Heritas!
What that means you're
Yeah.
Joseph Joestar!
Yay! Oh!
Barrier up!
Oh! Cool. Uh-oh. The music.
You're gonna lose your hair if you're not careful, Mr. German Army Man.
Tuh.
That felt like sandpaper. You should consider investing in a decent moisturizer.
Huh.
But how long have you been here, Joseph?
Nah, just got here.
Yeah, like a few minutes.
Sorry I took so long. I'd have been here sooner if I'd known what kind of party was going on.
Huh. Okay. Credits seem kind of long, is there? No, I think that's just a preview. Alright. Now. Geez, I actually didn't write down a whole lot this episode. Oh, you can actually choose the Japanese dub. That's pretty cool. I need to go back. I need to go back and write a few things down.
Mexican wins, he shall be known as San Viento.
Okay. Alright. San Viento. That is the name of our pillar man. Oh, that's interesting. So, here on Netflix, which is where I'm watching the dub, In the description for this episode, it says Pillarman Santana, despite in the subtitles saying San Viento. Interesting. Maybe it must just be the Japanese version of the name. I don't know. But alright, that is episode 12. Big episode. We are introduced to our new villain, San Viento, the Pillar Man. Pretty cool. He is different. He is different from Dio, definitely, and obviously different from Straizo. Yeah, he definitely seems to be like the ultimate vampire, basically, which is pretty interesting. So we can go ahead and jump right into the notes on this one. I actually didn't take down too many notes, so might not be a too terribly long discussion, but that's all right. We'll still talk about it. The first thing I wrote down was Donovan, SS Officer Donovan, who was supposed to, I guess, track down and hunt down Joseph. I guess that's it, because, you know, they did say, because they wanted to know everything about JoJo, and they wanted to know everything about Straizo and the Joestars specifically. Now, it's also interesting because it's like, okay, well, they caught wind of what Straizo had done, you know, so that's why the Nazis did all this. But it's interesting that, you know, they, well, I guess it makes sense that they never caught wind of, you know, they never heard of what Dio did, because that was 50 years ago. I don't think there was really a Nazi party back then. So no one had heard of Dio. They're more interested in Straizo just because he's recent. But by extension, they did say they were interested in Joseph Joestar. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, so Donovan was pretty interesting, I have to say. He didn't put up too terribly much of a fight. I mean, there was some of a fight, but then, you know, it was like, oh, he got Joseph, this is it, and then it's like, well, no, Joseph exploded a cactus and then beat him. It's like, all right, well, that's that, you know? So he didn't put up, excuse me. He didn't put up too much of a fight, but yeah, he was still interesting. So, but the next thing I wrote down, the more important thing, is San Viento. A very, very interesting name. And they said, I'll name him after the Mexican winds. He shall be known as San Viento. That was pretty, that's a pretty good name. I do like that. But yeah, the Pillar Man has awoken, and, you know, he seems like obviously, you know, he did speak at the end, and he was like, you know, who was the fool who disturbed my slumber? So he does seem to be some sort of ultimate vampire that comes around every so often, but he is a lot more of just a beast, you know? He seems to be a lot more of a beast, more than Dio or Straizo ever were. So that's interesting. But yeah, just the way he comes out and he's all calm, and I guess, you know, it takes him a while. He has to get used to his body again, and then, but once he does get used to his body, he can really just unleash. So it will be interesting to see how well Joseph fares against San Viento, and especially because he's untrained, you know, which we said about, we also said that about Straizo, you know, because that was the thing, was that, you know, Joseph is technically untrained with Hamon. He is a prodigy, you know, we'll give him that, but compared to Jonathan, who was, you know, trained by Baron Zeppeli, you know, Joseph is not trained, so how well is he, you know, we asked how well will he fare against Straizo, but now it's how well is he going to fare against San Viento? We don't even know how Jonathan would have fared against San Viento, you know, and even he was trained. So that's going to be an interesting fight going into next episode. But of course, you know, we do know Joseph is a prodigy when it comes to fighting and when it comes to Hamon, and he's incredibly intelligent when it comes to fighting, you know, through all of his stuff about, you know, prediction and everything. I'm not sure if he will be able to predict much with Sanviento, but again, that'll be interesting to see next episode. I wrote down absorption. So that was also pretty cool that Sanviento uses his entire body in order to absorb a person. Like, he doesn't waste any part of a body. He just completely devours it, which is pretty cool. I like that there are distinctions between him and other vampires. So that is pretty cool. And, just him being the ultimate vampire. It's kind of like in Hellsing with Alucard and, by extension, Dracula being just this ultimate, vampire. And the other ones we see, although there is, reason for it, the other ones we see just aren't, up to stuff. Even Police Girl, Sarah's Victoria. So it is sort of the same way where it's like, all right, this is the ultimate of ultimate. Like, this might as well, I'm pretty sure, like, this has to be the original vampire. They even said, like, all right, we have to assume he's the one that made the masks, So it's like, basically, all that power in the mask that it gives to a human. And now this is like if the mask had an entire body and came to life. It's exactly what it is, So that's pretty interesting. And I guess actually, I was kind of I was looking at his face and I was like, okay, he kind of he kind of looks like Jonathan in a way.
Pardon me, a little bit of your hair. Just a small handful or two.
What do you think you're doing? Let me go!
The more you fight, the more it'll hurt.
You're assaulting a superior officer! Now, who are you? What that means you're Joseph Joestar!
So the Pillar Man here, his face, I was kind of looking, he actually does kind of look like, he kind of looks like Jonathan in a way, and sort of you can kind of see a bit of Dio in there too, but you also have to recognize the fact, I only just put this together here in this discussion, that his face is the mask. It's the mask come to life, basically, which is pretty interesting. So, which that makes sense, that all the masks are modeled after his face, basically. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's basically if a mask came to life, that is what we are fighting now. We're not fighting a vampire, we are fighting the vampire creator, which was pretty cool. I wrote down disguise. JoJo's disguise, trying to get into the city, I thought that was pretty weird, and I do like that it's like, oh, well, the soldiers there, they recognized it immediately. I thought that was really funny. And then it worked out better when he disguised himself as a soldier and made it in there. I thought that was pretty cool. And the last thing really to talk about is, first off, the fact that, it's like, okay, I expected Sanviento to sort of be like, this ultimate vampire, so he would just be a more powerful vampire like we've seen with Dio and Straizo. But he seems to be a lot different. He's shooting what seem to be bullets out of his finger, like he can almost like mimic, some of these objects, which is pretty interesting. So we'll have to get a bit more on that, just to know what exactly he's doing. And then the last thing I really wrote down was hair. I thought that was pretty cool, the way JoJo used just hair as a hormone barrier for the bullets. I thought that was pretty cool. Which, yeah, I guess that is one thing about Joseph, is that he's got a few more creative uses of hormone, Like, and that's the thing, is that Jonathan and Baron Zeppeli, they did have some creative uses, definitely, but it was more like, I don't know, he's using them in very, I guess, honestly, bizarre ways. But that's pretty cool. I do like that. I like how creative he can be with using hormone, and, how creative the writers can be with this stuff. But that's pretty much all I wrote down for this episode. Really good episode. We were introduced to our main villain, Sanviento, and we are now on our way to our confrontation. However, because next episode is going to be our third episode, I would imagine that it's going to kind of mirror the third episode we had in the first arc, in part 1. Where in episode 3, they did have a confrontation between JoJo and Dio, so now we're going to have a confrontation between JoJo and Sanviento, but I would imagine that, this is not going to be our final confrontation. We're going to keep going, and eventually they will collide at the end, for real. So it will be interesting to see, I guess, what happens, what all is going to happen in this fight. Are they going to bust out some of the big stuff in this next fight, or are they going to save, I would imagine they're saving a lot of stuff for later fights with Sanviento. And then I guess just how is Joseph going to get out of there, and hopefully how does he get out of there with Speedwagon. But yeah, I guess this technically is episode 3, isn't it? Yeah, this is the third episode this is the third episode of part 2, I just realized. But still, I still think it kind of applies, so yeah, good enough. I mean, it's the third episode where we know of our main villain, I guess. I don't know. Still, I mean, what I said applies, even if the numbering's a bit off. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm excited to get into the next episode. But yeah, that's it. I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.